Hello, welcome back to another video. Thanks for turning up. I want to talk this week about what I find to be well, I don't know about you guys where you are, but for me, where I am, I get a bit of a frustration, yeah, a slight frustration in that OSR isn't to me, and obviously I'm biased, but I love OSR, you know I do, but it's not as well, people aren't willing to give it a go. And that annoys me because you've got some wonderful games like this out there, which is a really nice up-to-date cleanup of the rules of the BX version of Dungeons and Dragons, and it's really lovely out there. And people, I'm lucky enough to be part of a gaming group that will try it because I've asked for people to try it, and they are going to try it. And we've had a good time playing the games, and they've been willing to play the games I'd like. I've also publicly said I would put on games at different venues of OSR style games, be that old school essentials, or be that, for example, Dungeon Crawl Classics, which is not a full OSR game, but it's in the style and it tries to evoke, that feeling of it. My problem is that nobody seems to want to do that. I went to a shop around mine recently and said, look, I'll put on a free game. This was Dungeon Crawl Classics. I said, I'll host a game of Dungeon Crawl Classics for you, and I will do it for free. And once a month, I'll hold an open day. And they were like, no, we don't want that. It's not Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. And it's like, goodness me, just other games out there exist. And this is a good game, and I've talked about it before. I don't need to really go thumbing through about what it is about the game. But this, or as I said, something which is much more universally accepted, such as this, both are good games and deserve to be tried and experienced by people. But if the venues are not willing to let you put it on for free, then what? And I get this as anecdotal to me, and this is anecdotal to me. Another venue I went to was willing to let you give it a go, but actually I put an advertisement up and nobody responded saying that they wanted to have a go. I can find people online, but getting people to want to play this face to face, either of these iterations of an OSR style, is more difficult. And my thought goes along to, why is it more difficult? What is it about 5th edition which are willing to give it a go straight away, but these types of games, either style of that more older style, what is it about them that people don't want to go to look at? And to me, I've spoken about this before, actually it's choice, isn't it? Our generation now, well, the generation that's coming up and playing games and going to be buying things, well, older people can buy as well, of course, but the younger people who sort of have the traction behind it and the excitement, they want this. And I'll tell you why they want this. Because if I open up this page and we go to find character classes, and I've alluded to this before, but look at all this artwork. I'm not a fan of some of this artwork. Some of it's good, and some of it is not my cup of tea. But there you go. But so for example, if we open this up and we look at these different classes, and you can't show too much Wizards of the Coast stuff because they try and copyright strike it. So I'm going to stay on this page and one other page, and that's it. So this is the fighter, level 1, the most basic class in D&D. Everybody knows the fighter is a basic class in D&D. Well, that can be, but not in this D&D, because they get stuff at every single level. They have build options. Look at this page here. They get every level. They get a fighting style, second wind, weapon mastery, level 2, another action surge, and a tactical mind feat. A fighter subclass at level 3, ability score improvement at level 4, an extra attack, and a tactical shift at level 5. Ability, and you don't even have to know what these means, but they get something every level. They get an extra second wind, and they get weapon mastery in this at later on levels. They get something every single level. There is an option, or there is something for them to get, or something for them to choose every single level. And I'm using the most basic class as a reference here. I've got it conveniently open on the fighter on Old School Essentials. He gets a hit dice of a D8 every level. This guy doesn't even. This is Old School Essentials specifically. This guy's attack roll doesn't even go up till 4th level. If you're going to play one of these, you're going to take a few months to get to level 4 before your attack goes up in this. What else do they get? Not much. This is a real basic fighter. This is probably one of the most basic forms of fighter I've seen, and I don't really like the old school essentials fighter, if I'm honest. Other types of fighters in some games they might get the cleave option. So if they fight level 1 or level enemies or less, they can cleave and attack more. Some get that, but even that pales in comparison to what this guy or girl gets in what they get. And even if I were to take something a little bit more modern, which is Dungeon Crawl Classics, which isn't that modern, but even if we look at the fighter class, or in this it'd be the warrior class in this, the warrior class in this, they get better critical hits. Their critical hits are better, and their attack modifiers are on an special sided dice, so they get to roll a dice along with their attack and add that dice to their attack roll and to their damage. They get that, and they get well, that's what they get really, and better critical hits. But that's about it. They don't get They don't get what this brings to the table, and whether you like that or not, it is a factor into why I'll go to a gaming shop and say, do you want to play this, or do you want to play this, or do you want to play this? People are going to go, I want to play this because I get to choose everything. I get so many more options. I get far more options. And that's just the society we live in, I'm afraid. There are people like us, you and me, who watch this video and videos like it. We can appreciate this, and we like the simplicity of it, and we like that nostalgic feeling it brings to us when we play it. And I respect that, and I like that. But you have to also concede that options-wise, the other game pips it at the post. It more than pips it at the post. It surpasses it by a country mile. And that is just how it is. And this is why people, for me, don't want to play. And not don't want to, but it's harder to get people to play, especially in person or public games. You can get a group going, but it's the options again. So my thoughts are that, does that indicate trouble for the OSR scene in the long term? Because is it more populated by people of my age? I'm in my 40s, approaching my mid 40s at the moment, and most people who watch my videos are in their late 20s to mid 50s, early 60s that watch the video. Is the OSR scene sort of going to be, unfortunately, a scene which is eventually going to die out because people want options? People are used to video games and builds and things like that, and that's carried on to role-play game. And as we remember, people used to say 4th edition, they were trying to make video gaming in World of Warcraft to appeal to the audience. And 5th edition is still, I would argue, doing that now. There's lots of options and everything, but it's still a bit more roleplay heavy than what 4th edition was. And I just worry about how we get more people into the OSR. What's a worry is the wrong word, but my wonder is, how do you get people to try OSR style games when they're coming from 5th edition? Obviously, you might give them the old school primer by Matt Finch, sit them down, let them know it's more about what your character can do as opposed to what's written on the rule sheet and everything like that. But what are your thoughts? And I really would be interested in hearing these and reading these, because as you see, I do like and comment on lots of comments that are on my videos. I don't just leave them there. I really am interested in what you feel we can do to get people to more into the OSR style of gaming, because I love it. I love that feel. The selling point for me is this is a bit more deadly. It doesn't mean you can murdering your players or anything like that, but you have to be a little bit more careful. I love the old school feel of it, but another part of me has to admit, especially being a fighter, it's rather boring. Well, it can be. And being a wizard, you get a spell slot and then you're gone in a game like this. First level, hey, have one spell, you're spent, you better stay at the back, using a whip to try and entangle people. I remember some versions of the game people would do that, but there's not so much to do. So how do you combat that in your games? I am genuinely interested in hearing what you think the answer is behind this. As opposed to, well, if they don't like it, they don't have to play it. Well, of course they don't have to play it. But I mean, is there anything that you use to entice people to try your game of OSR style game? Let me know in the comments. Genuinely interested. Take care, everybody. All the best. Bye bye.